Hey guys, Chris here, and I'm back taking a look at the ADO A20. It's a bike that, when I reviewed it, had a few niggles that I said that they should improve upon, and we now have this, which is the A20XE version, which is a revised, improved model. Now straight away you'll notice that, oh hang on, the mudguards are different. So it's got some differences there, which I will cover in this video in detail, but the base bike is essentially the same. So 20-inch size rims, it has mechanical disc brakes, 160mm. We've got a shock in the seat post, soaking up some of those bumps. A front shock. It does have a 7-speed setup with Shimano gears, and of course a 350-watt rear hub motor. Now the bike is about 24 kilos, so they haven't made it lighter, and our battery pack is the same. It is a 10.4 amp hour battery, which should give us a claimed range, well they say, of up to about 80 kilometers, but I'll be putting that to the test. But let's first go over the changes with the new A20 XE version. So one thing I criticized with the first model when I reviewed it was the cheap plastic mudguards. They're gone. We now have these matte black ones. They're made out of metal. They don't rattle. They feel so much better. Quality has improved. And then the frame, I did complain about the paint job of the frame. It had a few little speckles in it, spots and things. It was a little rough, and it apparently was only one coating. So now what they've done with the finish here is they've applied 4 coats of paint just to make sure that it looks a lot better and should last. So it's definitely so much better, the paint work, compared to what I remember with the original A20. So we've got the same setup with the foldable pedals here. Now these ones I'm not a huge fan of. They're all right if you need foldable pedals and you've got them, so you simply just press them in, clip it up, those will then fold up. So for our gears, we've got 7-speed Shimano here, which is just like the old model, so that hasn't changed. The battery capacity has not changed either. It is still 10.4 amp hours, which for me gives me around 40 to 50 kilometers, although their claims are actually quite a bit higher than that. I believe it's around 70 to 80 kilometers, but you're not going to actually be able to get that. So the folding mechanism right here, it does have that little security latch. Now you just lift that up, then you pull on this and you can flip the bike right around. You can see now it is in the boot of a car right here, the trunk of a car. It fits in quite nicely. Of course, this is a large estate, so it wasn't a problem to do so. But even in medium-sized cars, smaller cars, you should be able to fit it in there. The same setup with the handlebars too. So we have this little security latch here. This is a bit of plastic that fits in a little gap in the side here to make sure that this lever is never going to drop down on us. So you pull that out, and then you simply need to lever this down, which doing so one-handed is a little bit harder, and then you just drop the handlebars right down, so that means it's a little easier to stow that away. Now the good thing about the handlebars is it is height adjustable. You don't normally see this. So we have the lever right here, simply pull on that, you can lower it up and down, and you can adjust the handlebars here too as well. So our trip computer, same as before, it's backlit. You can see this in daylight, perfectly fine as you can see now, and at night time, it's got a good glow to it. So we've got our power on, you can go through the different menus here, so odometer, trip, and you can see our speed and the assist levels. So we do have 3 assist levels. The first level will get you up to 15 kilometers per hour, second 20, and then 25 with the third level, which is the maximum one there. You can see the voltage. So it is running on a 36 volt system. Got our light switch here for the front headlight. I'll show you that now, that it's quite a bright light. It's not bad. And in daylight you can just kind of make it out for a little bit of added safety, but at nighttime, like right now, you can see it is bright and lights up the path ahead of you. So the front shock, it's more for aesthetics really, because, well, it only has approximately, you can see here, what is that, maybe 2 inches of travel. That's it. So not a lot, but hey, it is definitely better than nothing. So the tires, the rims are the same. We're looking at cross-country tires here. They are like a no brand one. Now we've got the 6-spoke design, and these tires, they're 20 inches and 1.95 inches wide. And our seat post here, fully adjustable, the height of that, so you can bring that right up, right down to account for different rider heights. It's a comfortable seat, and it does have a shock in it, so that does absorb some of the bumps. I'll go over that when I do my ride test and let you know just how this bike rides, of course. And then finally we've got a rear tail lights, LEDs. It's got quite a few LEDs in there. It's good, it's bright, and it's got a built-in reflector, so that does come too with the bike. So overall we've got improvements to the paintwork, the mud guards, and the brakes too is another one. They're still 160mm, which is very standard, but now they have a different style caliper here, so they're braking from both sides instead of just applying pressure on one. So it's both sides now braking. This should, in theory, improve the braking performance. They're no brand brakes, or Zoom, sorry, they are Zoom brakes that they're using at least. And here is our kickstand, which is quite sturdy. It has loosened off a little bit and it may rattle around, but I'll be keeping an eye on that. So that battery is removable. You can either charge it inside the bike or just take it out, charge it in the office or at home. So you do need to use those keys, so it's a lockable battery, stays in place. Now if you're wondering about the capacity of this particular battery, well, it is a 10.4 amp hour battery, so it's the same as before, or 374.4 watt hours. Now it does mark that it's using China brand cells, so not Samsung, LG or Panasonic, but they do claim ADO on their website that it's good for up to 800 cycles. Now what's it like to ride? The most important thing here, well, good space here. You can see my knees are not going to strike the handlebars. I don't feel like I'm too cramped in. I'm not a super tall person, but I'm not short either. I'm 184 centimeters tall, and you can see that the riding position to handlebars is quite high, and that means I'm not going to get a sore back. You're not leaning over, you're not crouching down like you are with some other e-bikes. So there is some rattle coming from the battery. The front shock is helping soak up some of those bumps. So they did put around the battery a couple of like little rubber or little foam pads around it, but it seems like it's still not quite enough to completely remove all of the rattle that is coming from that battery pack. As you can hear when I go over some of the bumps, you may occasionally hear that rattle. It's either that or the front shock, but I believe it is the battery. I just have a gentle climb ahead now, and this is only about 5-10 degrees. Of course, not a problem. I can do this in the 5th, 6th, or even 7th top gear. It's fine, and I'm in level 2 here, so these kind of gentle slopes, not a problem, but I'll get onto my steep climbing test point. One thing you do need to bear in mind with this bike is that when you pull out of intersections, make sure you're in the right gear, because that speed sensor doesn't kick in and give us power until 5 kilometers. So you do need to factor that in when you're in traffic, especially getting out of junctions. All right, so if you've not seen my other videos, this is where I test out climbs with e-bikes and e-scooters. It's about 25-30 degrees. It's quite steep. It looks less than what it really is on camera, but trust me, it's quite steep. So I'm pedaling in the first gear, and I still haven't reached 5 kilometers. Now I have, and it should start to give me assistance. There we go. It actually kicked in about 6. And now this climb in the first gear, I'll just go into the second and the third now, it's okay. I'm having to put a bit of effort in. The climbing performance is not the best that I've tested out when it comes to e-bikes, but it is doing okay with this steep climb. But you will end up working up a little bit of a sweat here. It is, after all, only a 350 watt peak motor that we have in the rear hub. So improved brakes now, clamping from both sides as opposed to just the one applying pressure, but still mechanical disc brakes. At 30 kilometers I'll fully brake. Hang on, I need to get my speed down a little bit. Now at that point, still average braking performance. I think for the price they're selling this bike for, ADO, it really does need hydraulic disc brakes. Would be so much better, but I can still comfortably stop when I need to. I just wish the performance was a little better. So how was the range? Well, it's the same as the original A20 version, that I'm looking at approximately 40 to 50 kilometers. So what I lose per battery bar, there's 5 of them there, is around 9 kilometers. One of those bars will go. So that means, yeah, approximately around 50 kilometers. That's still short of their claim, which is a lot more, which is, I believe, 70 to 80 kilometer range. Now, I am using the pedal assist level 3, or the high, which is the highest. I did do a few climbs here, and I do weigh about 82 kilos. So if you're lighter, you're riding more on the flat, it's possible, I think, then to probably be able to get maybe 60, 65, but 80, I still don't see that actually being possible there. So yes, we do have some improvements to the frame. I did mention in my original A20 video that the frame quality, the paint finish was just not up to standard. It wasn't very good, it was quite poor, so great to see that yes, they have improved upon that now with the 4 coats of paint. Braking performance is another area where they do say that they've improved upon that, because now the caliper is applying pressure from both sides, the design of it, instead of just one side applying pressure and then pushing it up against the other side of the disc. Now, I haven't really noticed too much of a difference. I would say it is marginally better, the braking performance, but still average, still not really that great. I would probably upgrade them to brakes that had a hydraulic caliper, even though it would still be cable pull. Now, I think for the price this bike sells for, it should really have hydraulic brakes. So the seat post and the seat is comfortable. I like that it's got the shock in it. It does soak up a few bumps. It is a comfortable, smooth ride, especially for town commutes. This bike is going to be perfect for that. So of course, it's got the foldable design. You simply just flick this up, pull the lever, and then you can just push it right around. It is that quick and easy to do. So the same with the handlebars, of course, is that you simply just need to flip out that little security there, pull down on the lever, and you drop that handlebar right down. So that remains, the design remains, and the mudguards are a lot better than the plastic cheaper ones that we had on the first A20. Not that in this climate here that I really do need mudguards, but if you live in a wet climate, it's certainly the one to go for. I would ignore the original versions if you are looking at this model here. So if you're looking at the first A20, go for the A20 XE. I think it's worth it for the improved paint finish. It should last a lot longer there. And overall, it's not a bad bike at all. It is a little expensive. However, I think it's selling for over 1,000 euros for this type of bike, and especially without the hydraulic disc brakes. I think it's a little bit of an ask there. The build quality is still lacking a little bit compared to some of the other brands that I've reviewed out there, like the Hemo bikes, for example, the Z20 and the Z20 Max versions. So thanks a lot for watching this review of the revised ADO A20 XE. I'm Chris, and I do hope to see you in the next review.